So I'm going to go to my next product, which is sample empty product 2, and that's empty. And now we're going to use the old Excel sheet. And in fact, with the old Excel 365, it's a little bit, so old Excel rather, you have to use the template and then install the add-ons separately. So whereas Excel 365, it's a single add-on that has in the task pane, it has the application logic for connecting, and it has the template. With the old one, you have to download the template separately. There it is. And it's got separate, this one has different, there's separate tabs for each artifact that doesn't automatically load them for you. I'm going to close the Excel 365 one to avoid getting myself confused, and hopefully not you confused. So with the old version, you go to the add-in section. It's here, not under team, not under the home like the other one is. It's actually in the add-in section. You connect up here, and it assumes that you do have the right sheet open, so it's not as intelligent. We put the login in here. This time it is the password you use, not the API key, unless you have single sign-on with it as your AD or ADFS or one of our OAuth providers. But so you, depending on your admin, you may have to use a password or an API key, but usually it's the password for this one. We'll choose sample empty product 2, and we did releases and requirements. Yeah, we can do requirements again. Actually, these are requirements. We can do requirements and we can do test cases. So with this one, I've got some sample data already here, so I'm not going to type it all in. Requirement name, description, and so on is needed. With this one, most of the fields are required. Also, the custom fields, you have to enter the ID values in for list fields and the text values for text fields. So it's not quite as intelligent as the new one. So for the requirement, you put in the name field. Description is optional. This at the top will tell you what format's expected. So if you want to put releases in, they've got to be the version number. The types come from the drop-down, so do the priorities, so do the statuses. But things like the author, the person who wrote it, it's the ID of the author. Owner is the ID, and then component would be also actually the name of the component. So some things are names, some things are IDs. Really be careful, look at the top. That's important. So that's what we'll do. We'll import that in, export to Spira. The numbers IDs get populated in here. That's how you know it's done. And if you want to do test cases are over here. Test cases have a similar structure to the new tool, except that the test cases are on the left-hand side. The test steps are on the right. This row type column is really important. That tells the old import tool, is it a folder? Is it a test case? Is it a step? Now, the one nice thing with this older one is it does let you import folders at the same time. The disadvantage is you've got to use this nesting very carefully so that the test case appears in the right folder. It's a little bit more fiddly. We've already filled this out. The test case name is here. The description is here. Priority and type were drop-downs. So is status, they're drop-downs. I didn't bother with the other fields. And the test steps are over here. Every test step's got a description, expected result, and sample data for a couple of them. Custom fields, I filled a few of them in as well. So that is our test cases. So the important thing here is to change your drop-down to test cases and hit export. And that's going to appear in the system as well. And again, the IDs will appear just like the new one does in some ways. If we go over to here to Spira, we'll see, hit refresh. We've now got the test folders. Click on them. In there is a test case. In that test case, we have steps. If we go over to requirements, we'll see the requirements are also in here too, just like I created. And it follows the tree structure using the indentation for the requirements, using the Excel standard indent and outdent right here.